Well, Maya, from that interview that Lindoguhle, my colleague, just had with the winner of the 232 million rand, an extraordinary amount of money, he reveals that the priority for him is education of his kids, and he says he's going to put that first. But he then says something else that I thought was quite interesting, that he's going to take it, quote, step by step, not going to rush into spending money. That sounds to me like a sensible thing to do, especially in light of having gone from living from hand to mouth and suddenly having all these millions.
Absolutely. I think, we've all played that game. What if I won the lotto? But, there's a size of the lotto that you kind of know what you do with. I'd pay off my bond, take the family on holiday, make sure I have enough for retirement, all those sorts of things. And then you get a number that is so big that trying to wrap your head around it is extremely difficult. And I think what a lot of people fall into the trap of, and it sounds like this gentleman's not one of those, is doing things that society thinks you would do, like buy the Lamborghini, flash your wealth, because that's what rich people do. And it sounds like to me he's doing the right thing, which is reflection. And, what is it that he wants to leave? What legacy can he leave with this money? How can he do something that will actually change the future of his children, of his community, of something that really, really matters to him? And I think that would probably be for him the most lasting experience that he can get with the money, because, there's only so much flash that's going to, that you can do before you start wondering what's the point. So I think that would certainly be, if I had to win the money, I certainly would want to know, I'd look at my value system and the kind of legacy that I want to leave.
Yeah. Maya, what are the applicable tax implications of this money? Because I suppose part of how you plan for your investments, your savings, how much you're going to spend on perhaps spoiling yourself and the legacy that you're talking about, part of it depends on how much this money will be by the time it lands in your account.
Yes, and I wish I'd quickly check that up because I can't remember what the tax rate is, but you do now pay tax on winnings, on gambling winnings. But I think it's still going to be such a very large amount of money that is not really going to be an issue for him. I think more of an issue will be for him is ongoing taxation of the investments, because once you invest money, of course, you would have interest, you would have growth, capital growth. So all of those things would be quite important in terms of the tax planning. And in that case, things like leaving a legacy, so you'd want to look at trusts and structures that perhaps would protect the money for the future and future generations, rather than just paying it all to the tax man now.
And then, Maya, how much do you then spend on spoiling yourself? I mean, I heard when Lindoguhle asked him about those things that you've always wanted to do and you just never had the means, the holiday you've always wanted to take. The winner there doesn't talk about spoiling himself. He instead talks about buying a house, again talking to issues of legacy for the family.
I think a lot of that can sort of come later, maybe, when we all sort of go, what is the first thing I would do? And you probably all sort of say, I would love to be debt-free, pay off my mortgage, just those immediate day-to-day pressures that you feel. And then I suppose there comes a time when you start, because you have so much money, you start just buying, and you get a little bit caught up in the materialistic stuff that at the moment he isn't dealing with yet. So I think one also has to have a plan in place that you sort of say, you know what, these are the things that are important to me. A house, I would like to take my family on certain experiences. I'm going to put some money away for that. And then almost get to a point where you lock away a lot of that money for the purpose that you wish it for. Because I do think if you don't do that, then it's not difficult. We all know, I always say it's not about how much money you have. It's about how much, it's how much spending you do. It's very easy to get caught up in that spending cycle. And despite the large amount of money he has, he could actually get through it if he got into that spending cycle. So I think there is, but you know what I think it is about? It's about think about what he really, really wants, not what the magazines tell him or the adverts. What is it that really he wants to do? And it may be something that you and I haven't even thought about. For me, it would be travel and taking my children on overseas experiences. So he would need to look at what spoiling actually means for him, because it means different things for different people.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for that, Maya Fisher-French, giving us some insights there on you know, how perhaps you go about planning how exactly you spend and perhaps invest and save from 232 million.